I like the sound of garage bands. And kind of like that lo-fi sound.
Yeah.
I think I like... Was that more like 90s? Was that more like grunge? Like grunge, garage band?
Yeah,
lo-fi?
grunge is like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, that kind of thing. And they were... Well, the other thing that's really interesting about music is like big types of music all started in one place. Like grunge started in like Washington and Seattle. That all started there. And like I said, all the like thrash metal bands, the big four, Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth, they all started in the Bay Area in California, San Francisco, Oakland, just all around that area. And then all the hair metal came from fucking LA and things like that. And like death metal came from Florida. Death metal started in Miami. That was actually something I learned just a little while ago. I watched a documentary on the history of metal.
Nice. The last documentary I watched was about crocodiles. Hey, man.
I watch documentaries all the time. I've got one saved on my Amazon Prime right now. It's As the Palaces Burn. It's about Lamb of God, and their lead singer went to prison for... he didn't kill the guy, but the guy died, and he kind of contributed. Because, like... A lot of artists don't like it. Like when people come up on their stage, like that's their stage. They're putting on a show. Don't fuck it up for everybody else.
Yeah.
And like he didn't really do anything directly, but he told the security guard to get the guy off the stage, and he fell off the stage and broke his neck and died. And at least that's what I read. I'm gonna watch this documentary later and find out more. But he spent time, and I think it was in Sweden that he went. No, it was Prague that he went to jail, I believe. He was in jail for, like, almost 6 months.
Damn.
Yeah.
Or how jail in Prague would be like.
I don't know. There's, like, some places where, like, their jails have, like, music programs and, like, they actually, like, help rehabilitate people. Like, that's what I hate. Like, I was on probation and, like, I was like, if they really wanted to help me be a better person, they put me in some classes or something.
Yeah.
But right now, they're just taking all my fucking money.
Yeah,
like,
essentially.
That's all they want.
Pretty much. That's why you just don't get yourself in that.
But you know, life.
Yeah. Another big thing to come out of the 70s was Southern rock, like Lynyrd Skynyrd. Did you know Aerosmith kicked Lynyrd Skynyrd off a tour because Lynyrd Skynyrd would open and people would show up for Lynyrd Skynyrd and then they'd all leave after Lynyrd Skynyrd was done.
Yep.
That's where the whole thing where like the joke that's like free bird, that's where that comes from, is because Aerosmith would come on and people would chant like tell them like, no, we want Lynyrd Skynyrd, and Aerosmith was like one of the biggest bands in the world at that point.
Oh yeah.
Like that was at their height.
Yeah. And then for another band who's not really there, it's like all of a sudden now staging you, it's like,
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, they were really good, though.
Yeah.
I love Lynyrd Skynyrd.
I mean, the problem is, I've only heard Sweet Home Alabama.
There's
a million mother.
That one's definitely... My favorite is probably Give Me 3 Steps.
Never heard it.
It's about a guy hanging out at a bar with some chick, and then her boyfriend walks in with a gun, and he's like, give me 3 steps. It's like, give me like a 3-step head start. Don't shoot me. I didn't know.
Yeah, like...
It's not worth it, man.
Are you a Willie Nelson fan?
Oh, I love Willie Nelson. And I don't really like his voice, but he's a great guitar player.
Are you a country music listener?
Yes and no. Like, I listen to all the old shit, like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Marty Robbins, George Jones, and, like, even some of the stuff into, like, the 70s and 80s, kind of, like Alan Jackson, George Strait, that kind of thing, but I can't stand, like, new age country. I can't do it. Yeah. It's, like, pop rock with a fucking southern accent.
That is the perfect description if I've ever heard it.
It's bad.
My thing
it's not
is...
music anymore.
When they've actually made jokes about country songs, That's where it draws the line for me on, like, what it is. Because it's like, all right, what do you get when you play a country song backwards? you get your dog, your house, and your wife back. It's like,
and that's the sad thing is like it's all the same. Like you have your sad songs that you lost, whatever, or you have your happy songs where you're on a dirt road and drinking beer.
Yep.
And that's it. That's all they can come up with. It's sad. Like country back in like the 50s and 60s was like beautiful music, telling stories and like.
Yeah, I like when music tells stories.
Yeah, that's why there's a band it's called Volbeat, and it's like if Johnny Cash and Metallica had a child, because like they tell stories. They're from Denmark, one of my favorite bands, because I'm actually part Danish. So
Okay.
I mean, not like it was very obvious that I obviously come from a fucking Nordic background.
Not really.
I mean, you definitely can't tell that I have a Nordic fucking bloodline.
So, what are some East Coast bands that you favor?
Skid Row from New Jersey. I love Skid Row, and that's one that they don't get a lot of credit. Just because, well, I like their first two albums. Everything after that was just kind of eh. But Skid Row and then Slave to the Grind, those were like two of the biggest albums for me, anyways.
There you go. I need a haircut.
Lamb of God is another one. They're from Vermont, but that's towards the East Coast. Is it on the East Coast?
That's heavy East Coast. That's like East.
Yeah. I love Lamb of God. I've seen them twice, and like I'll go see them every time they come back. They're so good. I'm trying to think. Like I said, lots of death metal bands. Cannibal Corpse came from Miami. I mean, does Body count? Does that count? Ice-T has a metal band. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Ice-T has a metal band called Body Count, because one of his really good friends from his childhood, was always really into heavy metal and played guitar and stuff. So he was like, you know what? Let's start a band.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and they're not bad. I mean, they're definitely not my style, but they're not bad. They do like a Slayer cover that's pretty good, and they have some other good stuff. But I'm trying to think. Put me on the spot with that one.
I found out Macaulay Culkin he's in a band currently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like, have you seen like interviews with him or anything recently?
Not recently.
He's
no.
like very well put together, and he's really intellectual and not like your normal childhood star that's like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, basically.
I mean, he used to be a drug addict, but
yeah,
he's clean
definitely
now.
he put himself together, and like he said he might start doing movies again soon and shit. That'd be fun.
Yeah, he was just in was it an Alexa commercial, or was it a Google Home commercial? It was one of those commercials with like the assistant, the home assistant or whatever, and he was like reenacting the Home Alone scenes where he's jumping on the bed or whatever. It's pretty funny. But I found out that the band that he's in, they only do covers of this other band called the Velvet Underground. And
yeah, I love the Velvet Underground.
Me too.
That's
yeah.
a great band.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think who was in that band. Was it Slash? I want to say it was Slash. No, Slash was Velvet Revolver. That's right. Too much Velvet. What are some more East Coast bands?
Lou Reed.
Lou Reed.
Lou Reed is in the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like Lou Reed. Metallica did this song with Lou Reed, though. It was terrible. Like, James Hetfield from Metallica, his biggest part was he said, "I am the table." And it's a joke now. Like, you can... I have, like, a bunch of memes on my phone that's just, like, James Hetfield's face on a table. I like bands from other countries a lot. Like I said, Volbeat from Denmark, or System of a Down. They're from Turkey,
Yeah.
I think.
Are you a Stooges fan?
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Stooges?
And then you have, like, solo people like David Bowie.
Yes.
Like,
I like David Bowie.
he came out with his...
Or Elton John. Like, Elton John, I love Elton John. Did you know Eminem got Elton John and his husband diamond encrusted cock rings?
Are you,
As
are you
like
serious?
a wedding present, yeah.
That's hilarious.
I thought it was awesome.
I mean, all right. That one took a.
Nico, Lou Reed, John Cale, Mo Tucker, Sterling Morrison.
Yep. Velvet Underground.
Loaded, I like that album a lot. My friend actually has this tattoo of the Loaded album cover. He has this tattoo on his thigh. Looks pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. So, but, anyways,
Where were we on the timeline here? Did we even get to the 80s?
I think we left off in the 70s with funk and disco and southern rock.
yeah.
Well, then the 80s were really weird because half of it, like, thrash metal came. And, like I said, that was like Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax. And,
A lot of pop, a lot of synthy pop.
yeah, it was like
80s.
either like really heavy metal or like really like glammed out and weird.
Yeah.
Like there was no in between. Like Rick Astley came from. You can't talk about 80s music without talking about fucking Rick Astley. What was that? Some other ones.
I guess Michael Jackson.
Oh, Michael Jackson for sure.
Yeah.
You can't forget about Michael Jackson. I'm not even a Michael Jackson fan, but you gotta have huge respect for Michael Jackson.
Come on!
And then there was like the hair glam metal bands. That's when like the mainstream poppy metal bullshit started.
To this day, I don't understand how he did it so well.
Right?
He invented it. I don't know how. I don't know how the fuck he did it.
Yeah, I love it.
I heard a thing one time, and it's probably not true, but I heard a thing where like he paid some little kid like $50 to teach him how to moonwalk or something.
Really?
He says it's probably not true, but it's just like a thing that I've heard here and there.
Interesting.
I don't know. There's a lot of stories about Michael Jackson involving kids that
Oh.
I choose not to believe.
Oh!
That's probably not what he paid the $50 for.
Oh my gosh.
That's what this show is, folks.
Oh,
this is
Jesus.
Sorry,
where
Michael.
it went. Alright.
Michael Jackson actually wanted to be a Catholic priest because of the benefits in that.
Oh god. He wanted to be a Catholic priest, but he wasn't qualified enough.
Nope.
He didn't have a high enough body count. Alright, that's enough.
Too much.
Could have really gone bad, like, you just won't let me be a priest because my color's changing, huh? Huh?
Does anybody know, like, I don't know how that actually happened. Like, I've heard that he,
It's
like,
just
bleached
a
his
rare
skin.
skin
Yeah,
disease.
Yeah, he
it
has
was
a
like
skin
a
disease,
condition,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's actually a little more common than you think, but for some reason it's just, like, because it was Michael Jackson, it was a little more glamorized.
Yeah. It also didn't
Because-
help. Well, yeah.
You had the Jackson 5 at first, and then you had, like, Michael and the whole family that was just the one out of the 5 that was just like, oh, okay.
It also didn't help that he caught his hair on fire shooting that Pepsi commercial in the 80s.
Ha! Ha!
Yeah.
Giggity.
Yeah.
That, yeah. Ha!
There was a huge riot one time because James Hetfield from Metallica got caught on fire with some pyrotechnics.
Oh.
And it was Metallica and Guns N' Roses that were touring, and Metallica played first. And that happened to James Hetfield, so Metallica couldn't play. And Guns N' Roses could have came on and saved the day, put on a good show or whatever. But Axl Rose, being the little bitch that he is, said that his throat hurt. So he didn't want to go out and play. And so the people, I don't remember where it was, but these people like rioted and destroyed like everything within like a mile radius of the stadium. Like
Damn.
it was
Wow.
pretty nuts. And I hate it when shit like that happens because it gives a bad name to metalheads. Because like people